Thylacine. Ooh, this one. This is one of those videos that I don't know how to feel, because to be quite honest, like most of the people who are probably watching this video, I really like the thylacine. I want it to still be alive. I hope and I pray. This is my new Bigfoot. Back in the day, I was like, Bigfoot's real. It's gotta be. There's gonna be DNA evidence. Someone's gonna find it. Technology's getting better. There's DNA or whatever. And then I was like, ew. Bigfoot's probably not real. And the more time went by, the less and less likely it was. But then everyone was like, what is an animal that did actually exist that probably could still possibly be alive? Thylacine. And it made sense. And it does make sense that the potential for that animal to still be there is a tangible thing. But as time goes on, it becomes more and more likely that it probably isn't, except for, of course, the far-reaching out of the middle of nowhere of Papua New Guinea, because no one can go there, and just like communism, it's never been done properly. Right now, when you think about the thylacine, there's a few people that come to mind. I don't really know much about some of them, to be quite honest with you. The number one person I think of is Forrest Galante. He gets a ton of hate, and I will come out right now and say, I hear you, I understand your reasoning. I think he's probably an overall force for good, and I'm going to get eviscerated in the comments for that. I don't dislike Forrest Galante. I think overall, he's a good force for conservation. That's what matters to me the most. You might not like some of his methods, but this might be a Coyote Peterson situation.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, put that down.
Holy cow, dude. That is not a bear.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Forrest just uploaded a video. And we're going to go over some of the points. Not the whole thing, because the whole thing honestly doesn't really matter as much. It's the claim that matters. So to sum up the first part of the video, if you want, you should go and watch the entire video. It's 25 minutes long, and you should hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Basically, he talks about some expeditions he's done looking for the thylacine. Of course, all of this kind of happens in the middle of COVID, in the heat of COVID. So like a lot of things that he wanted to do couldn't happen. He goes to Tasmania, he goes to Australia, and then he starts hearing about Papua New Guinea. And of course, if you followed him for any amount of time, you know he's talked about Papua New Guinea and going there a bunch of times. And his reasoning makes complete sense. There's been the New Guinea singing dogs that have thought to be extinct for however long, and they've recently just found a ton of them. But this is where things get a little weirder. Basically, he sets up this chart that has a bunch of native animals, not native animals, and then a thylacine, and he gives it to a bunch of natives, or not him, but people he knows, gives it to a bunch of natives who are like guides in the area, and they go and pick out the stuff they've seen, and most of them pick out the thylacine as well. Circumstantial, but interesting. Might get your heart pumping a little bit. Because it got mine when I was watching the video. I was like, ooh, what is this evidence going to be? I'm super excited. Is this finally it? Now, this next part that we're going to watch, I wonder if you'll have the same reaction that I did.
Rose would venture into these villages, she'd start talking to people, and it was really tough because there's no cell phone service anywhere there. So Rose would head out for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, and I wouldn't hear from her for that whole time. Then she'd come back and be like, nope, nothing, nope, nothing. Then one day, I get an email out of the blue from Rose where she tells me there's a man in a village who owns a striped dog. Well, I'm freaking out, right? I'm on the edge of my seat. These striped dogs are a thing that villagers and villagers have talked about as though they're around regularly. It's nothing unusual, and the prospect of a thylacine sighting was just unbelievably tantalizing.
Yeah, it is unbelievably tantalizing, and it would be awesome if it wasn't not only a secondhand account. I understand that she's your friend and all that, but a secondhand account in the way that when I started hearing this, I'm like, you didn't see it. You don't know. You're just hearing stories. This is starting to sound a little fishy to me.
So I asked Rose, what can we do? Can I pay for you to go there, try and vet this, go and see the striped dog, take your phone, get a photo, all of that? And she says, no problem, no problem. Again, this was during the height of COVID. So It was incredibly difficult to facilitate, to even get anywhere, to get a plane. There were no planes in there, blah, blah, blah. But basically, I managed to help support Rose to get to this village. And I was on the edge of my seat for a month because she disappeared from the face of the earth because there's no cell phone service anywhere. And she gets there. This guy's telling Rose he found 2 pups of striped dogs in a hollowed out log, which is the preferred den site, by the way, of the thylacine. He took the 2 pups back to the village. One of them died almost immediately.
I don't know if you've ever seen The Hunter. It was denning up in a cave. So, I think I trust the Green Goblin on this now.
Had a different back legs, it ran differently, it literally checked all of the characteristics of a thylacine. But, sadly, by the time Rose got there, one of the other village dogs had killed it. Now keep in mind, this is not like living in West Hollywood where...
Here we go. This is where I'm like, oh, you don't have evidence unless you have the body. Somehow we're able to get the body out. I feel like this would be bigger news if you got the body out. I feel like I would have heard about this in something that wasn't a YouTube video, or the first time I saw anything about this was on his TikTok. If your evidence was this massive and this happened years ago, you wouldn't just be talking about it now in a YouTube video. That's when this started to hit me.
Where we pamper our little pooches. These are remote villages where dogs are used as tools, hunting tools. And if a dog can't cut it, sadly, it gets killed by other dogs. Also, this is where the story gets so disheartening. Also, after the striped dog had been killed by another village dog, they decided to eat it. So they ate the striped dog, which potentially was a thylacine. They cooked it up and discarded the bones. Well, I said to Rose, please tell me you found some of the bones. Well, sure enough, she found the bones. They were charred. They were super gnarly looking. They were all practically destroyed and not distinguishable of anything at all, except for one photo. That's right, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Rose sent me a photo of a charred, broken, gnarly looking lower jaw that perfectly matches the look of a thylacine jaw.
What? Wait. So you got a photo of the only thing that could potentially be like, yes, this is what it is, which a jawbone is a big deal. You can identify an animal with the jawbone, even if it's charred. What does this picture look like? You say you have a picture of it. What does the picture look like?
Jaw. Now, sadly, Rose didn't keep the jaw. She left it there. I just have this one photo. There's no way to tell for sure that it was a thylacine, but the fact that in 2021, I believe it was at this point, Rose got a photograph of what clearly looks like...
I'm dying over here. The actual picture is being safeguarded by a variety of trusted experts at this time. What? Forrest, why? Why would you do this? This is what, 3 years removed? This is the first time we're hearing about this? And you won't even show the picture? Does Ketchum ring a bell to anybody? Remember Bigfoot and Ketchum, the DNA stuff? Hey, remember Coyote Peterson? You know, with the Bigfoot skull? You remember Coyote? Unfortunately, I hate to say this because I really like you. This is your Coyote Peterson moment. You don't give any proof. You make a claim, but there's no proof. Why are you doing this?
Like a thylacine jaw, and a first-hand report, not a second or third-hand report, but a first-hand report from a man who says he found a thylacine and raised it to semi-adulthood before it was killed. It just lights this fire in my belly and under...
He didn't say a thylacine. You said yourself a striped dog.
So they ate the striped dog, which potentially was a thylacine.
He didn't say it was a thylacine. A striped dog. Why all of a sudden is it now a thylacine and you won't show the picture? And you didn't see it. You weren't there. You have a picture that you won't show us from somebody else who claimed that they found somebody who ate and the bones were from a couple of years ago.
My bones that I cannot explain. Now, sadly, in order to do this expedition right, I have to raise close to $5 million. We need helicopters. We have to go to this incredibly remote area. By the way, this area that Rose went to is the same area that my buddy, you need major funds to get in there. I want to put out something like 2,000 camera traps and survey them for 3 months. So I won't say where this is for obvious reasons of trying to protect the animal and the fact that if it's still alive, it will still be alive in a year or two when I'm able to finally pool all the resources together.
Unfortunately, the first time I watched this video, I was just shocked by what evidence I thought was there. The second time watching this makes me a little bit angrier because I realize all the things are clicking together for me right now. Seeing this, the light bulb moment. You wait 3 years to tell the world about this when you've been talking about going to Papua New Guinea for a long time and all the potential that's been there. You've made mention of this area. You've talked about it. You've talked about the valleys. You've talked about blah, 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 the mountains and the people seeing it and blah, 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 blah. You made mention of that. You've hyped it up. And I don't doubt that you truly think it's there. It makes sense. But in order to get the $5 million or so that you just say you need for this because you need to make it big, Animal Planet went down. You're not getting Animal Planet money anymore. This is the hope, the dreams, the life draining out of me right now. Like when I started making this video, I kind of had a feeling of what the things I wanted to say because I had watched this already. But going over it now and listening to it again and really thinking about it and how directly after you talked about it, talking about how much money you need to go and do this, bro, not happy. I hope I'm wrong. I've always very much enjoyed your content. But now, you're kind of reminding me of El Coyote. And I don't like Coyote. Because the only thing he does is get bit by stuff to get views. I haven't seen a single thing he's done otherwise because the only thing he's known for is getting bit by stuff. And faking a Bigfoot skull. Showing a picture of a charred remains that's almost like you can almost not tell except for one picture. The picture you're showing is giving away your credibility, unfortunately. Because I don't want to feel this way. I didn't think I was going to say this stuff. It's very frustrating. I stand behind your reasoning. I stand behind the motivation to do so. I back you with all of this. What I don't back is feeling like you're trying to pull something. And this video feels like that. It feels like you're trying to trick people out of money to fund your trip. I hope I'm wrong. Please, I pray I'm wrong, but you're not giving me a reason to give you the benefit of the doubt. Everything you have said is hearsay, and you haven't given any evidence to back anything up. And that's the problem. I back you up on everything else 100% with this whole thing until it feels like you're trying to trick people into having more evidence than you truly do have. And that is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. I hope I'm wrong. Please show the picture, show the evidence so that you can put this to rest. Because if the picture does exist and it is real, you got all my support. I'll send $10 your way because that's all I really have. Otherwise, I don't know how to feel about this. I really don't. Well, guys, what do you think? Am I being over dramatic here? At first, I thought that I was a lot more even-handed with this in the beginning until I watched it again and rethought about it and realized how unfortunate the whole situation is. To be quite honest, I'm not happy. I hope the Thylacine's still out there. I hope and pray. I pray that he is right. I pray that he is telling the truth. I really do. Let me know what you think down below. I want to hear your honest opinion. Give it to me. Please give it to me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.